Hey guys, welcome back to Chariot Palmistry. My name is Sulabh Jain, and today we're going to be talking about the stock market and the financial shenanigans that I think are going to be going on this year. We're going to be doing so from the context of astrology and palmistry. Let's put some context onto this. The main planet to look at right now is that of Saturn, which is sitting in Capricorn. And Capricorn is the top phalange of your middle finger. And what I want to explain here is basically whenever Saturn enters one of these signs, it creates chaos, as in it just destroys everything in order to rebuild it up once again. So let's put some context on that context. This happens about every 7 to 8 years. Saturn enters one of these top phalanges of your hand. It's basically each phalange is 3 different zodiac signs. So it goes through one and then it enters the other top phalange of another finger. And as I said, it happens every 7 to 8 years. Saturn just entered Capricorn in January of this year. So if we go back in time 7 or 8 years from 2020, that puts us in 2013. And these things take about 2 years to resolve. So in 2013, there was a bond market crisis in Europe. If we go back 7 years back from there, we're in 2006, which was a global financial crisis. And that took about 2 years to resolve as well. 7 years back from there, we're in 1999, which is a dot-com bubble, and its implosion over the next 2 years. 7 years back from there is 1992, and that's the first Persian Gulf War, the rise of oil prices, and the subsequent worldwide recession that happened after then. 7 years back from that time is 1985. That's when the American economy started stagnating and the huge stock market crash of 87. So you can see this is actually a pretty reliable indicator on what's happening. So, as I said, in January of this year, Saturn entered Capricorn. There's going to be a lot of funny business going on with the financial markets. So let's think of it this way. Capricorn is all about finances. It's banking, it's the accountants, all those sorts of people are ruled by Capricorn. Saturn is karma. It is punishment and judgment. And so whenever an industry does something bad ethically, Saturn comes into it and just pounds it, punches it in the face, and brings it down to earth. And that's what's happening right now. Yes, the reason for all of this is the coronavirus and how that's going to impact world markets, but fundamentally the energy behind this is actually punishing credit markets. And we're already seeing big losses in the stock market already. What I want to do for you guys is highlight the key times this year that you have to be aware of what's going on. Because the good news is this thing was going to take about 2 years to resolve itself. But on the other side of that, the world's going to be in a very good space. And I want to help you guys prepare to get to those good times. So the first time to be aware of is the first week of April of this year. What's going to happen then is Jupiter will enter into Capricorn. So at the same place as Saturn. So think of it this way. Saturn contracts energy, Jupiter expands energy. And in other words, the two tend to balance each other out. So in the first week of April, you're going to see this declining stock market flatline just a little bit. And it's going to stay that way until May, which is unfortunately when there's going to be more chaos. In May, Jupiter and Saturn both go retrograde. And basically what that means is a lot more chaos. And from the point of view of Valmiki's Palmistry, whenever Jupiter is retrograde, that's a sign of Kumkaran, the demon giant monster, waking up. And he destroys everything in his path. That's going to go on for about 6 months. Any wisdom that the financial sector has not picked up from that period of April is going to come back on its head times like a zillion. So just be aware there's a lot of chaos for the financial markets in the second week of May. But that's going to be prelude to an even bigger disaster happening in September of this year. And what's going to happen at the end of September is 3 very big things. Firstly, Rahu and Ketu are going to transit into Taurus and Scorpio. So Scorpio and Ketu is the key one we want to look at there. Scorpio rules wealth that's underneath the ground. So gold, silver, oil, basically the commodities, they're going to do really badly for about a week or two in September. The other thing to look at is I think Mercury goes retrograde at that point, and I think Mars roughly is retrograde at that point too. So those two planets are going to cause a lot of chaos as well. So there's basically 5 key dates to look at this year. The first one is in January, which has already happened. The second one is in March, which is happening now, and that's like everything going downwards. Then the first week of April, we'll see a plateau effect. Then May, down big time. Then September, it'll drop even more. Now this is the bad news. How do we prepare for this, and how does life get better? Right now, the biggest thing or the best thing you can do for yourselves is hold on to cash, or as much of it as possible, at least up until September. What's going to happen in September is this sort of deflationary downward trajectory that everything's going to go on will switch into high inflation. And so holding on to cash at that point won't be a good idea. Now, let me just throw out this caveat that I'm not a financial planner, of course, and I can't give you personalized financial advice, but based off the astrology and palmistry, this is what I think is going to be happening. And so in the last 3 months of this year, October, November, December, as Saturn is bringing its karma down upon the financial sector, you want to be in the metals, which is gold, silver, and even iron. So the thinking there is gold is a metal of the sun, silver is a metal of the moon, and iron is a metal of Saturn. I think these 3 should be doing well in the last 3 months of this year. Prepare for the next couple months, and obviously keep your family safe and yourselves as well. But be aware that in the background to all this medical fear that's going on in the world right now, there's also a bigger theme of financial justice. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. Thanks a lot, guys.